Hello and welcome to my channel, and welcome to a new episode on the Corvette. So in this episode we're gonna start diagnosing the non-running issue. Last episode we changed the fuel pump, fuel filter. It was trying to turn on with lighter fluid, the starting fluid, but it kept spitting fireballs, valves were stuck open, I couldn't get compression. So this video I'm gonna remove the plenum, remove the fuel rail, inspect the injectors. I already ordered a new set of Bosch injectors, and remove the valve covers on it, inspecting the rockers, and maybe even if I see a lot of damage, I'll probably even remove the heads. So we'll see how it goes. Let's get to it. All right, so we're gonna start by removing the throttle linkage over here. There's two clips that you just slide off on the actual cables. There's a spring that you just remove like that, and there's two 10mm screws right here. So I'm gonna start by removing those clips. That's how the clip look like. You just pry it open a little bit and you can slide it out. Very simple. Right, now to remove the cables, you just pinch on the two tabs on the inside, the plastic tabs, and you can just slide them out. So the one to the outside is the cruise control cable, just to keep record of it so you don't switch them out. I'm sure they only go one way anyways, but just in case. Gone. Here's the throttle cable. All right, so I'm actually gonna keep the bracket. There's no point removing it since it's part of the plenum. Now I'm gonna remove the throttle body and move it out of the way. So there's the throttle position sensor over here, the TPS sensor. You just pull and tap, pull it out. Then I'm gonna disconnect the coolant line. Just a flathead screwdriver and pry it out of the way. And there's four 10mm screws. Right, and now it should pull out just like that. So there's one coolant line connected on the bottom, and there's another coolant line here. I'm gonna keep them connected and just kind of move it out of the way. Right. There's a vacuum hose right here. Make sure to disconnect it. Then there's another sensor plug on the bottom. I think that's for the idle valve, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so yeah, you can remove this one. All right, so here it is from this side. I kept the bottom hose connected to the throttle body, but I did remove this one, and I removed the bigger one right here. Coolant didn't come out, so I think we're good. That's the other sensor I disconnected on the bottom. So now there's four T40 screws on every side that I'm gonna remove. But before I do that, make sure you disconnect all the vacuum lines right here. 1, 2. Yeah. The one in the fuel pressure regulator, I'm gonna keep it on for now. Just gonna disconnect the ones from the top of the plenum. All right, I'm gonna start removing those screws now. All right, so one of the screws is a 10mm nut because it got this that have the cable holder for cable management. So you need a wrench to be able to remove it. There we go. And the rest are with the T40. Three on every side of the bottom side here. They're the same T40 screws, but still the plenum doesn't want to budge, so I'm kind of like fiddling with it. I think the gasket is what's stuck. They put some RTV, so I'm just trying to separate the gasket so I can remove the top plenum. I think now it's pretty loose. top is hanging on to anything now. There we go, finally. Yeah, I think the gaskets, let me fix the camera. The gaskets were what stuck and didn't let me remove it right away. So now it's out. There is this connector that I didn't disconnect, but I don't even think it was connected. And yeah, there's only those two vacuum lines. And that's about it. So let's keep going. All right, let's take a closer look at what's going on inside. Here's that connector that you need to disconnect. Mine was already disconnected. There's a lot of dirt and debris. And before I pull those tubes off, I definitely have to vacuum because I don't want any of that to go inside the engine chamber. That's the line that I had to disconnect from the back. It was pretty simple to remove. I'm gonna need a new gaskets, of course. Here's the fuel pressure regulator. I already got a new diaphragm for it. All right, I'm gonna set the camera and start removing those the extension, the plenum pipes right here. All right, so I finally was able to remove this last screw that goes over here. I had to remove the distributor cap, which is for 1/4 bolts. Hold on to it, it's pretty simple. I just use an extension. And then I had to remove this sensor. This sensor was the one that's getting really in the way of putting the tool. And I reached the tool from over here. So now I'm gonna vacuum the area, and then I'm gonna use a rubber mallet and hit those runners so I can remove them. Right, I removed this rubber hose over here to have better leverage on it. It's 5/8 to remove those fuel lines in and out. Now I'm gonna remove the 4 10mm bolts that's holding the fuel rail down. Okay, now I should be able to just pop it out. Let me disconnect this vacuum line here. That's gone through to the EGR valve. Here we go, move it out of the way. Actually, there's 2 more screws right here that I have to remove to be able to reach it, just like that. And to get better leverage on it, I put a socket over the wrench, and just that's how I was able to open it up. All right, so I've been hammering on it like an idiot, but it turned out there's 2 more screws right on the bottom, and you have to loosen up the harness cable to be able to reach them. So once I did that, now they are finally loose. After all that hammering, they didn't want to fight me anymore. Those are the 2 screws that were still on the bottom, and they are very long screws. They look different than the other ones. I'm glad I didn't break it with all that hammering, but again, I was using a rubber mallet. So first one out. You can see even after I removed the screws, those gaskets were still stuck on there, so it was still hard to remove them. But second one's out. And now I can pull the fuel rail. There we go. Fuel rail is finally out. We'll move to the workbench and take a look at them. All right, so here's the fuel rail. And those injectors are looking real bad. No wonder they were stuck. I doubt any of them were working. Even the fuel inside is so dirty. Alright, I'm gonna completely disassemble it. I did buy a new fuel pressure regulator kit to replace what's inside. And I'm gonna start pulling those injectors out one by one and replacing them. I wonder if these are the Bosch ones that are on it. Let me grab one of the new ones, compare them. Right here, the Bosch injector I bought. And I might have the wrong one, because I know there's two kinds. The one that protrude over the O-ring, like the one I just got. And the ones that are on it are more like flush. So the one I got is definitely longer. So I don't know, I need to do my research on it, see if I can use the one I got. Let me pull one of them out. Here we go. Yeah, that fuel rail is so dirty. And I think those never been replaced before. Here's a close-up on them. Look how dirty it is. It's completely clogged up. Yeah, it's completely clogged up. So actually they are the same height. They are the same height, but the O-ring fits differently on the bottom. I'll do my research and check if I can reuse them or not. Yeah, I don't think those are Bosch, the ones that are on it. Alright. Right, so I just pulled all 8, and I just want to show you guys what's inside the fuel rail. Look at all that gunk. So yeah, no wonder it wasn't trying to start at all on its own gas. I changed the fuel pump, fuel filter, and still it didn't want to turn on. But when I spray brake cleaner, starting fluid, it will pop. So I think there's some valve stuck, and it definitely wasn't getting any kind of fuel to it. Look, it's pretty bad. Of course, I'll replace all those O-rings here, so. Look inside that. So I have to completely disassemble that fuel rail now and clean it up. I wonder how long that car been sitting. Wow, there's leaves. Look at that. There's leaves stuck inside the fuel rail. Alright. Alright, now I'm gonna pull the valve covers. There's 4 3/8 nuts all around it. Now this one's very loose. Wow. Oh, interesting. They're all pretty loose. Alright, I just pulled the valve covers, and this engine is so nasty. Oh my god. Look how bad this is. All the gunk that's stuck in it. No wonder it wasn't turning on or nothing. And that's the valve that had no compression. It's because the rocker is completely loose off of it. So this whole head gonna have to be removed and machined and reworked. Look at that, they're all loose, very loose. This is the wiper blade cover broke while I was removing the valve cover. Holy shit, look how bad this is. It's disgusting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull the whole head now and take it for machining for sure. Get it all rebuilt and nice. Alright, so I pulled the car into the garage on the lift, and I'm gonna continue working on the head. So right now my goal is to remove the other valve cover and then remove the whole head to see how it looks like. I am gonna get a new engine for sure, but I figured might as well. Let me pull the head, see how the head gasket looks, how the bottom end of the engine looks. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Next step is to remove the headers. There's the header bolts over here. I'm gonna remove those. I see there's 2 bolts on the front. that attach all the front accessory belts. So probably I'll remove the belt and then loosen up those 2 bolts and see if I can pull the head. I just removed the belt. That's how bad the belt was. Literally about to snap. There's even some wires coming out here. There we go. Yep. Alright, so it's time to remove the passenger side valve cover. I just removed the not 10 millimeter, it's 9/16 screws all around, and it's time to remove it and see what's going on inside. Alright, here we go. Oof, oh my god. Oh my god, this one's even worse. Oh wow. So yeah, that's why we were getting no compression, because the rockers are completely off the track. So on the driver's side, one of them was off the track. On this side, 2 of them. That means they are very, very loose. That's why they get off the track like that. They should be sturdy, like this one, for example. Ha! Wow. Look at the amount of rust and gunk that's inside. It's a rusted block through and through. I guess that's a negative of having an iron heads instead of aluminum heads. Yeah, definitely a good idea to get a new engine in it. Alright, I'm gonna keep at it, keep working on disassembling stuff to be able to pull the heads. Alright, so I removed the front alternator and pump that were here on this bracket. And then I removed the compressor, but I didn't disconnect the lines. I don't want to evacuate the Freon. I just moved it to the side. And I think this is where I'm gonna stop for this video. I still have a couple of things that I need to do before I can pull the engine out. I need to disconnect everything from the bottom side of the car. But the top side, I think the power steering pump need to be disconnected. And just start removing the transmission bolts, and then we can lift the engine out. So thank you guys for watching. I think this is a good stopping point, and next video I'm gonna concentrate only on pulling the engine out of the car. So see you on the next one. Bye.